Okay, guys, hope you're ready for this trip to Liverpool. They pushed us really close last season in the quarterfinals. First knockout round, as we saw last season. This first leg of this round, sometimes we can be a little bit scratchy getting back into European football, but this season, I don't want any excuses. We've already seen what HK can do when they took on Ajax. Really good start for those guys in the Europa League knockouts, okay? So we've got no excuses. Let's go to Anfield. Obviously, it's a tough place to play, but let's go out there. Let's give it to strong arm Tommy and hopefully bring back a good result for the second leg.
Looking for trouble and fights, but you found me. No, I'm a screw up, but baby, I'm glad you're someone to rely on, someone to rely on. No, I'm a screw up, but baby, I could be someone to rely on, someone to rely on, someone to rely on.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode number 183 of Husavik Heroes here on Shaun Does FM. I hope you are doing well, and coming up in today's episode is the first leg of the first knockout round for the Champions League here in 2037. We do travel to Anfield to take on Thomas Tuchel's Liverpool, a rematch from last season's quarterfinals. As well as that, the transfer window has opened here in Iceland, so we'll do an update on the business that we have done so far. In that, a bit of a domestic recap. We'll check in on HK as they take on Ajax in the first knockout round of the Europa League, as well as that one should be finishing by the end of today's episode, and we can see if they make their way through to that second knockout round. So if you are looking forward to today's episode, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying this series here on the channel, also remember to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated. But we are taking on Liverpool in the first knockout round of the Champions League this season, with a quick look at what has happened so far in the first knockout round here before we go and have a little bit of a look at what we have been doing prior to this first leg. As you can see, Juventus and Chelsea are locked up there at 1-1, as are Bayern Munich and PSG. Man United with a slender lead there against Porto, albeit that first leg was played away from home, and Real Madrid at the moment look like the team in the best position to be making the quarterfinals off the back of a 2-0 win away from home there against Sporting. And then coming up on this match day, it is us versus Liverpool, Hertha Berlin versus AC Milan. By the time we get to checking in on how that tie between HK and Ajax is finished in the Europa League, we will also know the results between Manchester City and Barcelona, and Cologne and Sevilla after the first legs. But while we are on the subject of European football and HK, we'll go over to the Europa League and can see how they've got on, seeing as the Europa League does begin a little bit sooner than the Champions League does. And as you will be about to see once the game actually loads, HK actually taking a lead into that second leg against Ajax, which has played a few days off the back of our first leg, which we are about to play against Liverpool. HK picking up a 1-0 win there at home, so it's a really good result there for HK, their first time in the Europa League knockouts. Berntsen scoring the goal there at the 73-minute mark with an assist from one of our former left-backs here at the club in Jorge. Pretty even game. You could actually argue there that Ajax did get FM'd a little bit, albeit their XG was a little bit lower there than HK's, and they do take a 1-0 lead into that second leg, and we'll give you guys an update on whether they do go through, as I said, come the end of today's episode. But before we do have a look at Liverpool for the first leg of this first knockout round, we have started the Deal Bakar here domestically, leading in to the first leg of the first knockout round. 3 games in that. We started off with an absolutely thumping win there, 14-0 away against Proto Reykjavik. Very, very good performance there. Heiko Kunzi up front for us. That was because Adam Saki as well as Ali Ramadan were on AFCON duty. Of course, the Ballon d'Or winner Adam Saki, so we were missing there a few important players, but Heiko Kunzi picking up 7 goals in one game. He had a stormer there, had 6 by the end of the first half. We picked up a 14-0 win. Off the back of that, we took on After at home, an 8-0 win with a pretty similar team to the one that did dismantle Proto in that previous game. And then leading into this one, we put out our rotated team against Hafnaf Shador and picked up a 5-0 win away from home. Heiko Kunzi continuing an absolutely fire start to the season now that Adam Saki has returned off the back of AFCON duty, and he did pick up yet another AFCON title, his 3rd in a row, as they did defeat Congo in the final, largely thanks to a couple of goals from him against Ali Ramadan's international team. But off the back of those wins, we are in a really strong position in the group stages of the Dielbaka, 9 from 9 already, 2 points clear of Keflavik, about to play those guys in the relatively near future. And our goal differential is superb, 27 after only 3 games played already. Looks like we should be making our way through to the semi-finals of this competition yet again, can hopefully pick it up like we have done in most years so far in this save. But as well as that, the transfer window has already opened here in Iceland. One of the benefits of playing in the latter half of these first knockout round ties, and that does mean that we have sold a few players, loaned a few players out, and also signed some players as well. And this is the business that we have done. A lot of the ins actually relate to the outs as well. As you can see, a lot of players who we have signed, we have loaned straight back out. But the main moves, Erdan Shaiti, he has gone to Hanover for the rest of this European season, wasn't able to fit into our registration for the Champions League this season, so he is going to play for Hanover for the remainder of this season. In the 2 Bundesliga, above that, Alfonso Cruz left us on a free transfer. He has gone to Keflavik, a player who came for our youth intake, didn't have much potential, so not missing out on too much there. We'll see him shortly, of course, when we take those guys on. In the Dielbaka group stages and up a little bit further, the only sale we've made so far in this transfer window in Iceland, seeing as it has just recently opened up, Thomas Ori Vansdal, a player who also came for our youth intake. He has gone to Phil Care with his 1.5-star current ability and 2-star goal potential for £275,000. And the rest of those deals on the outs all relate to the other side. In terms of the ins, we have signed 5 players, albeit only one of those players is actually currently at the club. A lot of players that we have signed because they had quite high potential, so we bought them in before other European clubs got interested, and they have gone straight back out on loan. They'll come back before the start of the next European season. The only player who we didn't loan back out is the bloke that we did sign out of Ajax, and that is an Icelandic goalkeeper called Axel Orn Porvaldsson. We could have actually signed him on a free transfer if we did wait until the end of June, but I clicked on the wrong button when we did approach to sign him, so we actually ended up signing him a few months early. In the end, it was for £1.1 million in compensation, but he looks like quite a promising Icelandic goalkeeper who has started his career off at Ajax. 1.5-star current ability, 3.5-star goal potential, 4.5-star white potential, quite similar to Robson, the goalkeeper that we did sign to replace Peter Lervik last season. And if he starts to outshine him, that does mean that he'll probably get a bit more game time being a local EU player as compared to Robson, who is Brazilian. So at the very least, it gives us a few options there, albeit we might look to loan him out to a fellow Icelandic club for this upcoming domestic season. But he's the only new signing who is actually here at the club so far. All the rest of these deals, players with high potential who we loan straight back out to the clubs who we did sign them from. Starting off with Anderson Guehi. He is a young Ivorian right back who we signed for £200,000, 18 years old, 2-star current ability, 4-star potential, but 5 stars white. He looks like a great pickup for that price and can hopefully become a good backup in the future to someone like Radenko Krolo. Even if he is a foreign player with that potential, he could be a very, very good buy for us, even if we do just turn him around for a profit in a couple of years' time. Another player like that, Jacob Dobbes, we spent £5 million on him, exactly the same ability and potential here for the Czech Republic midfielder. At 17 years old, he's gone straight back out on loan to Sigma Olomouc, but did have quite good potential there for less than £10 million. A common theme here with these signings that we have made. Next up, Marcelo Jr., £9 million, could rise up to £10 million, signed and has gone straight back out on loan to Palmeiras, exactly the same as those previous players. He's probably the most promising looking of this crop that we have signed recently, though. With the current attributes that he does have, he might end up being quite a good future Mazzala option for us. Looking at his attributes at 18 years old there for the Brazilian, the last player that we signed out of Midtjylland is Hamid Alapor, straight back out on loan to them after signing him for £7 million, exactly the same current ability and potential as all those other signings, and he looks like a good, promising right winger for us. Could end up overtaking someone like Maurizio Menga, seeing as he does have a little bit more potential than the man that we did sign to replace Hans Voss leading into this current European season. So that's what we've done transfer-wise so far. Not a lot of effect here on the club currently, with only one new addition and a few players who weren't going to get much game time anyway having left the club. That does mean for the transfer budget, We still have a bit left, about £14 million and £68,000 left in the wage budget with our transfer budget that we did have anyway. I think it was unlikely we would have been able to find anyone for the amount of money that we did have to improve the first team without selling someone who was already there anyway. So we decided to just go after a bunch of youngsters, as you can see, with high potential and bring in a couple of them for fairly reasonable fees there. I think it is fair to say should be players who we can sign for a profit in the future. But we are about to take on Liverpool in the first leg of this first knockout round. As mentioned earlier, they pushed us quite close in the quarterfinals of the Champions League last season. We bet them at home, and it took a late Benvenu Bayer goal at Anfield to make sure that that game did not go to extra time, even though Liverpool did end up down to 10 men. A quick look at our opposition. They currently do find themselves in 6th in the Premier League, so are outside of a Champions League qualifying place. Of course, we only played these guys last season, so not too much change there, although it does look like Trent Alexander-Arnold is no longer in their best overall 11. Of course, he picked up a red card in the first leg when we played these guys last season, but apart from that, quite a similar looking team, 5 at the back, 2 in midfield, and 3 up front if you do include the wingers. And we'll just have a quick look at the Premier League table and see how far behind the likes of Chelsea they are, and they're actually struggling a little bit at the moment. Looks like the top 3 teams, Chelsea, Man United, and Manchester City, of course, who we did beat twice in the group stages last week, have a big break there on the likes of Arsenal, Hull City, Liverpool, Leicester, Newcastle, and Tottenham all look like the teams who are in the fight for that final Champions League qualifying spot. But off the back of what we did to Manchester City last week, 2 pretty comfortable wins over those guys in the group stages, I am hopeful that we can pick up a good result here and make our way through to the quarterfinals, especially as off the back of the end of the group stages last week. If you missed the end of that, and of course the draw for this first knockout round in that last episode, I'll leave a link to that one in the top right corner. But the board did update the club vision here for us. They expect us now to not only reach the semi-final of the Champions League, but to actually reach the finals. Over the last few years, that expectation has gone up quite considerably. So we do need to go very, very deep here in the Champions League this season. But based on what we did do in the group stages, I would like to think that we can do that, and we're going into this game with no serious injury concerns. All of our players from that best 11 during the group stages are available, so we'll come back shortly, run through the team sheets, and hopefully get a good result to take back to my arena for tomorrow's episode as we take on Liverpool in the first leg of the first knockout round. And here are the team sheets for this game at Anfield. Here are Liverpool looking very, very similar to what we did see before, albeit not playing with wingers, just 2 in the attacking central midfield, but quite a similar formation with that 5 at the back. There we are, as I mentioned before. It's our best 11. Everyone is available, and hopefully we can take a good result here back to my arena for the second leg tomorrow. And only 2 minutes into this one, we have our first highlight here, Liverpool with a goal kick, which they do take short and look to play out from the back. We're putting a bit of pressure on them here, albeit they do get that ball out to Zaman, albeit a poor pass from him, Lassana Doumbia, with the interception. And hopefully we can get on the front foot here nice and early at Anfield, try and play a ball over the top there for Adam Saki, but can't quite link up there with the current Ballon d'Or holder and the recent AFCON winner. That will surely give him a big chance of defending his Ballon d'Or crown, because of course that win did come in a non-AFCON year, a year which also had the Euros and Copa America, so quite a surprise actually to see him win that award. Header there for Liverpool from Thiago Hernandez, but that does go over the bar, so that's the first highlight, still 0-0 after 5 minutes. And 10 minutes off the back of that first highlight, we have our next one there, Carl Vollen well out of his box, but just plays that short, and we now look to play out from the back, and this time Mizkic ball over the top for Adam Saki, tries to put that away, but forces a decent save there out of Smith in goal for Liverpool. He had quite a good game in those quarterfinals last season, kept the scoreline quite close, and now Lassana Doumbia from a corner and links up there with Filippo Dinelli, but that's a heck of a save from Smith, so he's showing the form that he showed in the quarterfinals last season, and we can't do anything off of that second corner, and that will keep it at 0-0 after 13 minutes. And we go forward to just shy of the half-hour mark for our next highlight. Yet another corner in our favour. This time Bassero Gay gets his head on the end of that, but just goes over the bar at the moment, while on top of Liverpool here, as it does look like Lassana Doumbia has picked up a little niggle, albeit that hard is starting to recover, so we'll leave him out here for the rest of this first half, but still locked up at 0-0. And that is half time in the first leg of this first knockout round of the Champions League, still locked up at 0-0, which would not be the worst result here away at Anfield, but certainly playing the better football as well at the moment. Liverpool are yet to hit the target, and most of the highlights that we have seen have been in our favour. Lassana Doumbia does look like he's okay despite picking up that knock there during the first half. We might have to take him off at some stage during the second half for Bruno Costa, but at the moment quite happy with how things are going, and hopefully we can break through as we get the second half underway, locked up at 0-0. Now about 5 minutes into the second half, we have our first highlight of it, starting off here yet again like in the first half with a goal kick here to Liverpool yet again, looking to play out from the back. Really poor ball there though from Marcelino, intercepted by Benvenu Baya, and Adam Saki puts that away in the bottom right corner. Absolute gift there from Marcelino, and just like that we get on the counter-attack, albeit not much of a counter-attack because we won the ball here nice and high. Really poor there from Marcelino, and Saki is being played onside, somewhat chips the goalkeeper into that right-hand corner, and early on here in the second half we do grab a 1-0 lead, and we might be looking to try and make it 2-0 because we do have another highlight here not too long off the back of that previous one. Agatire there at the far post gets a header off, but it goes just over the bar, and we do still hold a 1-0 lead, and very shortly off the back of that second chance in a row, Liverpool again here look to play out from the back, and they do get this one forward now to Lustra, but Jonathan Berger there gets a foot in and wins the ball back for us. Good little period to try and get us on the front foot here, and hopefully we can grab a cushion goal here away at Anfield, which would be a very good result to take into that second leg at home in tomorrow's episode. But at the moment, Liverpool are pressing us quite high here on our right-hand side, and Basaro Gay now will switch things over to that left-hand side. Jonathan Berger plays it out to Mizkic. Benvenu Baya over the ball again for Adam Saki, plays it over the top is what I was trying to say, and Adam Saki does beat the goalkeeper there at his near post. We are going to have to wait for a VAR check. Michael Oliver is waiting, but the goal is awarded. It's a quick fire double for Adam Saki, and just like that early on here in the second half, a Liverpool mistake, and we make the most of it, and not too long off the back of that nice ball there from Benvenu Baya, Adam Saki will pick up a quick fire double, and 10 minutes into the second half here at Anfield, that makes it 2-0 Völsungur. And just past the hour mark, we're going to make our first substitution of this game. We're going to play things safe with Lassana Doumbia after he did pick up that slight knock in the first half. Bruno Costa will come on for him for the last half hour, still holding a 2-0 lead. And about 15 minutes further on and until the end of this one, still 2-0 up, and Basaro Gay is on a yellow card. Feel like we've got this game fairly well under control. Hopefully, Elaine Basiki coming on won't change that. Still 2-0 up here away at Anfield. And with about 5 minutes left in this game, still no highlights since that flurry, which did result in 2 Adam Saki goals, but Radenko Krolo playing well, but down to a red heart. Pedro Lemos to come on for him, and we'll see if anything else happens here inside the last 5 minutes. But this has been a pretty good display from us here at Anfield, picking up where we did leave off in the group stages. We do have 4 minutes of extra time, but at the moment Liverpool just doesn't look like they're hitting the target enough here in their home league. We've got 9 shots on target. They have just got the one, and in the end, that's a pretty convincing performance there away from home at Anfield, and that's a great result to be taking back to Iceland for the second leg. And we usually play a lot better in the second leg of the first knockout round than we do the first, off the back of a little bit more competitive football. So that's a really good start here to knockout Champions League action in 2037. We pick up a 2-0 win, and we'll take that back to Iceland, and surely have gone a long way to reaching yet another quarter-final. In the other tie on this match day, AC Milan also pick up a win away from home by 1-0. We'll go forward a few more days off the back of this, update you guys on the result from the remaining 2 ties in the first knockout round of the Champions League, and as well as that, check in on HK and see if they can finish off the job against Ajax in the first knockout round of the Europa League. And we have gone forward a few days off the back of that 2-0 win at Anfield, and here is the update on what else has happened both in the Champions League and in the Europa League. The bottom 2 ties were the ones that we were waiting on, and it ends up that both of them have actually resulted in draws. Man City being held there 0-0 against Barcelona at the Etihad, so that is a very interesting result, and alongside that, FC Cologne and Sevilla are locked up at 1-1 after the first leg of that one. In Germany, so at the moment, the teams with advantages are us, AC Milan, Real Madrid, and Manchester United, and you'd expect all four of those teams to make their way through, with the second legs of those ties all being played at our home stadiums. But 4 games there where teams have a bit of a lead, and 4 which all locked up. So it does look like this is going to be a very interesting first knockout round of the Champions League. But it is now time to go down to the Europa League and see if HK did finish off the job there against Ajax after leading that 1-0 after the first leg in Iceland. And they just did enough to go through, did HK. Ajax were 2-0 up there for most of the second half of that second leg, and with that result, they would have been going through to the second knockout round there against our fellow Icelandic team. But then it was Eminovic who scored a goal in the 86th minute, and then off the back of that, in extra time, with only 2 minutes left before this game did go to penalties, it was Werner Bayer who put one away, and HK do go through 3-2 after extra time, and their first time in the Europa League knockouts is going to go into the second knockout round. So it's a great start here for Icelandic football on the coefficient table in the knockouts here of European football in 2037. If we do go back, we can go forward now and have a look at the draw for the second knockout round, and this actually possibly looks like a slightly easier tie for HK here. Right down the bottom, they are taking on Panathinaikos out of Greece. I would like to think that will be easier opposition for them than Ajax were, so hopefully they can get through that tie as well and also make their way through to the quarterfinals of the Europa League, like you'd imagine that we should do off the back of that 2-0 win away at Anfield. So early doors, a good start here to European knockout football for both us and HK in 2037. But that will do it for today's episode. A bit of a transfer update and HK update, which at the moment is going very well. And as well as that, we pick up a 2-0 win away at Liverpool. We'll come back tomorrow and play the second leg of this first knockout round. And provided that we do get through that, as you would expect off the back of that 2-0 win, we will also have the draw for the quarterfinal of the Champions League, so we can see our path to the final, because there also, of course, be the draw for the semi-final. But we should be making our way through as long as we don't completely blow things there at my arena. But if you did enjoy today's episode, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also remember to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. But until tomorrow, hopefully we can finish the job against Liverpool, and we'll also check in on how HK are getting on against Panathinaikos. Thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.